the inimitable Marianne Williamson. Hello, Marianne.
Hi, beautiful Katie. How are you?
You're also someone who's been getting a lot of chatter. There's been talk of a progressive challenging Biden. And you're one of the names that people have floated out there. People talked about Nina Turner, but we now know that that's impossible because she's running for Congress. Wanted to know your thoughts kind of in general about what litmus test you think there should be for someone to challenge Biden, if there is one at all, and then your thoughts on it personally.
Well, I don't think the issue is who at this moment so much as it's what. And every day I think more and more that there must be a what. There must be a challenge to the Biden agenda, whether it has to do with children who are dying in Yemen because we are selling for over $1 billion arms to Saudi Arabia, an arms sale that Trump had bragged about, but which I thought, most of us thought, based on his own words, that that Biden would have reversed. Whether it has to do with the starving people in Afghanistan and the horrific exit that we made there. More and more, I'm hearing about, reading about, and interfacing with women going through the most horrific situations when our exit from Afghanistan did not prioritize helping these women to get out who had worked as activists, as humanitarians, and in many ways with the United States, whether it has to do with the college loan debt that Biden could end tonight if he wanted to, whether it has to do with Medicare for all that he effectively could make happen tonight if he wanted to by declaring a national medical emergency, whether it has to do with, again, a Trump-era prosecution of Julian Assange, something we thought that Biden would reverse, but that he's just hunkering down around, whether it has to do with the fact that he could deschedule marijuana from a Schedule I drug. There are just so many ways where when he said nothing will change, I think a lot of us didn't realize just how serious he was. And we're living at a time of crossroads in this country. We're in decline. We're in decline in this country. And it's not going to fix itself. If there's going to be a pattern interruption of the trajectory of decline, it's going to be because we, the people, make it happen. And Biden is far too aligned with the corporatist agenda that has gotten us here. The idea that an entire class of politicians who basically drove this into the ditch are now claiming that they're the only people qualified to lead us out of the ditch is absurd to me. So once again, it's not a matter of who, but it is a matter of what. And it's a matter of a very different way of looking at our economy and our politics than is now dominant in Washington. What we have now is what paved the way for Trump. What we have now is what unfortunately seems to be inviting in, at least the way things are going now in the midterms, more of the same. And if we only offer more of the same in 2024, then I fear for our democracy.
Are there any hard lines you think that people need to make in order to even be considered challengers to Biden?
Well, there's the challenges to Biden, and then there's also the issue of the midterms and the non-corporate backed candidates that we've supported, which of course has to do with the Medicare for all, cancellation of college loan debt, Green New Deal, free college, and so forth. But I think for a presidential candidate, a presidential primary, now we don't know if Biden's going to run again, of course. So this person might be primarying Biden. They just might be primarying the whole cabal of, Ken and Barbie Doll politicians who unfortunately seem to be the core of the Democratic Party these days. No, it's not even a person anymore. There's Trump, and then there's a Trump-esque agenda. There's Biden and a Biden-esque agenda. And we need a serious pattern interruption back to a party that puts the health and the safety and the well-being of the American people and people of the world, for that matter, and the planet on which we live before the goal of short-term profit maximization for the huge corporate entities, whether it has to do with insurance companies or big pharmaceutical companies or big oil or big chemical companies, big agricultural companies, military-industrial complex. As long as that network, that matrix of corporate forces, which happens to be the corporate the corporate behemoth that has a chokehold on Congress. I mean, Congress is basically a handmaiden. It's a system of legalized bribery that does the bidding of these corporate forces. This is not only hollowed out our middle class, it's now hollowing out our democracy itself. So, yes, in order for the Democratic Party to have any chance of being what the Democratic Party even claims to be, and in order for our democracy to have a chance, we have to make a radical break from the last 40 years.